It's all over. Trump has won the 2024 election, so we can now stop arguing about it, and now it's time to look into the crystal ball and predict the future. This video will not be about any sort of complaining related to any sort of election outcomes. So as for my predictions, these are the topics I suspect Trump is going to try and impact over the next 4 years. Number one, immigration policy. Number two, voter ID. Number three, discipline in K through 12 education. Number four, ending foreign financial aid. Number five, regulation of the intelligence community. Number six, cutting the EPA, environmental policy, and possibly the Clean Water Act. Then number seven, Supreme Court replacements for Alito and Thomas. Number eight, gerrymandering. And number nine, tax cuts. I'm going to start with things that I have to say that are probably going to be positive first. The election cycle is always a very negative time and it wears us all out. So I'm going to talk about some things that we might have to look forward to first. So, positive number one, immigration policy. This has been a huge concern for Republicans and Trump, and he made big moves on the issue last time. So I think it's safe to say he'll come in ready to attack immigration, and I do use the word attack intentionally. Last time, Trump did two main things to fight immigration. He started development of the wall, and he separated illegal immigrants from their American-born children in order to deport them. I wouldn't be surprised if he does both again, but I absolutely believe he will continue building the wall because that is the most public-facing issue related to his border control policy, and he knows he will probably damage his reputation if he doesn't continue that project. It will not be a good wall because, what can you realistically expect from a wall that's built across 2,000 miles of border? But he will at least build something to sustain his reputation. I actually don't think he will put in legislation to make sure the wall is fully developed because he's a narcissist, not an idiot. So he knows a 2,000-mile long wall isn't going to stop anyone in the 21st century. So by the end of his presidency, he will just probably have a couple more sections built that will eventually be forgotten. So since the wall is something I think most people understand isn't going to work, and Trump will too. So if he wants to attack immigration, expect to see something new, some new strategy that is going to shock people on the left. Whatever his plans end up being, I guarantee you the Democrats will call it a human rights violation. And I think unfortunately this is it's just an unfortunate reality that has to occur because illegal immigrants just have too much to gain by coming here. And so little to lose. And when you have such an imbalanced equation, the only way to disincentivize that much gain is to create policy that instills fear of loss. And fear is really the key word in that equation. Positive number two, voter identification. Republicans have been pissing their pants over fear of illegitimate elections. And since they now have control over all three branches, expect to see them implement a voter ID policy for future elections. They will also likely attempt to ban mail-in ballots. I don't actually have a problem with mail-in ballots personally, so long as there is a system in place to verify the ballot is being submitted by a U.S. citizen. But Trump and Republicans are going to want to hinder basically lazy voters that they believe are mostly coming from the Democratic side of the party. Positive number three, discipline policies in education. We've obviously come to a point in this country where teachers have virtually no authority in their classroom, and that has a huge negative impact on our education environment. I could see Trump or the Republican Senate advocating for new policies to restore school privileges or to provide more school security. Positive number four, ending financial support to foreign nations. I suspect Trump is going to gut a lot of financial support to U.S. aid, and then Israel and Ukraine as well. This will probably be the end of the war for Ukraine. They're about to be reintegrated with Russia, sadly. So moving on to things that I'm more concerned about. Number one would be intelligence community regulation. I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to the leadership of the intel community. Trump has said he's looking for revenge against anyone who opposed him. So I suspect he's going to gut some of the FBI and anyone involved in investigating him. Once those people are out, I see one of two things happening. One, either he simply creates rules to make himself immune from further investigation, or Two, he fills out intelligence leadership with shills who are loyal to him, or both. I suspect he'll most likely focus on creating rules to make sure he's immune from investigation, and he'll probably log down or destroy the files related to his investigation. And that issue leads into another concern I have that's related, and that is that Trump is probably going to support policies that will make it harder for us to investigate elected officials in the future, which will increase corruption. The Supreme Court already reinterpreted the Constitution this year so that we can no longer investigate officials for actions related to their official duties, and Trump is probably going to lean into that. Number two, gutting the EPA and environmental protections. Don't expect the quality of your water to increase as a result of Trump's policies. We all need to probably buy home water filters in advance. Because even if Trump doesn't eliminate the Clean Water Act, the companies contracted to clean our water are going to know that they can probably get away with just about anything. I suspect that within probably the next 10 years, we will have several new Flint water crisis issues to deal with because of Trump. Concerning issue number three, Supreme Court replacements. As a moderate, I do not like either party having such a commanding lead over the Supreme Court. I'd much rather have the two parties to never have anything more than basically a tiebreaker advantage, but that's not going to happen now. Trump is not going to elect a moderate. Justice Alito might retire, and he'll be replaced with someone who probably has at least a couple decades left in their career. That's what he did last time. And Justice Thomas might retire, but I have a feeling he'll try and stay in his position until he dies. Concerning issue number four, gerrymandering. For those who don't know what gerrymandering means, it refers to when the government officials design our election districts to make it more difficult to elect candidates from the opposing party. So that basically means they'll clump larger Republican areas into the same voting district as smaller Democratic groups in order to make it harder to elect Democratic officials. This is probably going to be pushed by the House more so than Trump, but it will be interesting in seeing how Trump responds because gerrymandering isn't going to help him since he can't be elected again, but he might support it to keep the party loyal to him. And for my final concerning prediction, tax cuts. This is going to be a massive problem for the United States in the long run. Trump is not going to create tax cuts in any way that creates a disadvantage for him or his family. So that means the rich are going to get richer under his administration and the poor will get poorer. We might see temporary positive benefits from whatever tax cut he proposes, but it will result in long-term damage to our government and to our overall financial success as a country.